All right, for our next example, we're talking about finding the equations for the tangent line and the normal line. Remember, tangent line, we need to find the derivative because the derivative is going to tell us the slope, okay? And normal is the perpendicular slope to the tangent, okay? And this, where x is pi over 9, is going to be important because that's the point we're going to use when we write the equation of the line. Okay, so first off, let's start with f of x equals the cosine of 3x. We just said we're looking for the tangent. So what I need to do is I need to find the derivative here. So the derivative, I see this as a chain rule. It's a function inside another function. So the derivative of cosine is going to be negative sine. Okay, so I've got negative sine of 3x, and then I need to do the derivative of the inside because we're on chain rule, which is 3. So that's negative 3 sine of 3x is the equation for my derivative. Now to get the actual slope of this specific line, I'm going to take the derivative and put in the point they gave me of pi over 9. Negative 3 sine of 3 times pi over 9. All right, so what we're looking at is negative 3 times the sine of pi over 3. Okay. So this is where we have to go back to the exact value table that you did in trig. My brain works in degrees, so a lot of times you'll hear me convert these to degrees in order to figure that out. So pi over 3 to me is, well, pi is 180 degrees, so pi over 3, divide that by 3 would be 60 degrees. So the sine of 60 degrees, sine is my top one, and 60 degrees, that would be the square root of 3 over 2. Am I correct there? Square root of 3 over 2? Yep. So that gets me negative 3 times the square root of 3 over 2. So the slope of my tangent line is negative 3 square root of 3 over 2. So that's the tangent slope. Okay, now I want to find the normal slope, so I'm going to do the normal slope. I'm going to do the opposite sign and the reciprocal. So that's going to be 2 over 3 square roots of 3. I'm going to go ahead and rationalize this. So I'm going to multiply by 3, square root of 3 over square root of 3. So that gets me 2 square root of 3 over 9. So I've got my two slopes. So I need the y value that goes along with this point, so I'm going back to the original function for that. So the original function at pi over 9 is going to be the cosine of 3 times pi over 9. So what I actually want is the cosine of pi over 3. So if the sine of pi over 3 is the square root of 3 over 2, then the cosine of pi over 3 is 1/2. Okay? So my point that I'm going to be using is pi over 9 as my x-coordinate and 1/2 as my y-coordinate. And the equation, the form of the equation I'm going to do is y minus y1 equals my slope times x minus x1. So my tangent line at that point is y minus 1/2 equals negative 3 square root of 3 over 2 times x minus pi over 9. And my normal, there you go, snoring again, y minus 1/2 equals 2 square root of 3 over 9 and x minus pi over 9. So that those two things down here are the answers to our question. Okay, you could have, I think IB will accept if you leave this as 2 over 3 square root of 3, but other mathematicians will think you've lost your mind. Okay, IB doesn't judge you on whether you rationalize or not, but the rest of the field of math does. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right, so the next example we're going to do is just 4 different ones together, so that'll be the next video.